All right, guys, we're going to rock and roll here in a matter of moments. A lot to cover on the program, ladies and gentlemen, including Beau Pribula's commitment to the University of Virginia, the Missouri quarterback, the one-time Penn State University quarterback, has surprised some, although he was scuttlebutted to the University of Virginia, linked in scuttlebutt capacity to the University of Virginia prior to committing. He's now your starting quarterback, at least on paper, as the University of Virginia closes the Chandler Morris era. We're going to talk about Beau Pribula today on the Jerry and Jerry show. This young man probably flirting with $2 million in compensation for his final year of eligibility. One NIL valuation platform had Beau Pribula right around $1.8 million in compensation for the final year. The 15th ranked quarterback in the portal, a dual threat quarterback. We'll talk about this significant commitment on the show. The transfer portal last year propelled the University of Virginia to an ACC championship appearance, and was it a Gator Bowl victory?
Yes.
This year, ladies and gentlemen, the transfer portal is already off to a really good start. We'll talk about that. We'll talk Louisville. We'll learn a hell of a lot more about this Virginia men's basketball team over the next two games. Virginia travels to Louisville, Kentucky, where they're going to face a top 20 Cardinal basketball team, and then they have SMU on the road on Saturday. We'll talk about that on today's show. We'll take your comments, we'll take your questions, we'll take your concerns, we'll take your salutations and your praise for Judah Wickower, a distinguished gentleman of significant proportions. A quarter zip and a button-down shirt and new glasses, Hootie, for Judah
New
Wickower.
look for Judah.
Looking sharp, right?
Looks good, man.
Looks good, Judah Wickower. Hootie Ratcliffe and I are big fans of Judah Wickower, if you don't realize that, on the Jerry and Jerry show. J-Dubs, my friend, we're in your hands, sir. Good Tuesday morning, guys. My name is Jerry Miller, and thank you kindly for joining us on the Jerry and Jerry Show. A pleasure to connect with you guys on the most talked about Virginia sports talk show on the planet. We are less than 2 miles away from the John Paul Jones Arena and less than 2 miles away from Scott Stadium in downtown Charlottesville, Virginia, on a program that always has something to talk about. And boy, oh boy, do we have something to chitter-chatter about this morning. A quarterback, a signal caller from York, Pennsylvania, as a prep player, high school player, who initially committed to Penn State University because he was a diehard Nittany Lions fan growing up. A man signed to Happy Valley by James Franklin, who's now been fired by Penn State and now is the head coach at Virginia Tech. Beau Pribula is now the University of Virginia face of the program as the Chandler Morris era has closed. Beau Pribula had a cup of coffee in Missouri, where he was a fairly standout quarterback in the Southeastern Conference, a guy that helped push the Missouri Tigers to the Gator Bowl, where they eventually lost to the University of Virginia, and Beau Pribula single-handedly impacted the Gator Bowl, not by throwing a football or running a football, but by telling his coaching staff and his teammates, I'm going to sit out of this Gator Bowl game, this Gator Bowl matchup. When he sits out, the backup quarterback plays, the line, which had Missouri heavily favored, immediately diminishes to basically a pick-em. Virginia, Chandler Morris beats Missouri, and then Chandler Morris is denied a seventh year of eligibility. Within a day or so of Chandler Morris being denied a seventh year of eligibility by the NCAA, Tony Elliott and the University of Virginia football team closed the Morris chapter and opened the Beau Pribula chapter. Gosh, we have a lot to talk about. We'll also talk Louisville and UVA, 7 o'clock tip-off tonight, a battle of top 20 teams. We'll know a lot more about Virginia basketball over the next 2 games as Ryan Odom's club is on the road at Louisville and on the road at the SMU Ponies. Judah Wickhauer's behind the camera. You may not see him on screen, but the guy's rocking a quarter zip just like Hootie Ratcliffe and I, and he is sharp and fresh today on a chilly Tuesday in downtown Charlottesville. Studio camera, as we welcome the star of the show, Judah, the namesake of JerryRatcliffe.com, a man whose fingers have been peppering the keyboard. Jerry Ratcliffe with his Pinehurst quarter zip, looking quite sharp as well.
Thank you, sir. As are you.
Good Tuesday morning to you.
Thank you. Same to you. It's been a busy week for sure, and as we narrow down toward the end of this portal, closes Friday. Although people can still sign deals beyond the closing of the portal, they just have to declare to be in the portal by then, and that sort of thing. So it's been a crazy week.
Bo Pribula, Hootie.
Yeah, the guy, I think he's a pretty decent quarterback.
Me too.
He completed over 67% of his passes, which is pretty significant considering where he was playing in the Southeastern Conference, and threw for nearly 2,000 yards, 11 touchdowns, 9 interceptions in only 10 games. He had a leg injury and missed 3 games because of that. He also is kind of a dual threat guy. He had nearly 300 yards rushing and 6 more touchdowns. And, he went toe-to-toe with a lot of the best defenses in the SEC. They lost, of the games they lost, most of them were one-score games against nationally ranked teams. And so he's been under fire on the high level, and I think Virginia's fortunate this late in the portal to end up with a guy with his kind of experience.
I 1,000% agree. The gamble of almost being pot committed with Chandler Morris and receiving a 7th year of eligibility, which he was denied, almost backfired for the University of Virginia. They did secure the 15th ranked portal quarterback available. Mm-hmm. There were other talented quarterbacks that were intrigued by the University of Virginia, including the former gunslinger from Florida in the Swamp, the Florida Gators. So many storylines here. Storyline number 1, the very obvious one, is Pribula sits out the Gator Bowl. UVA beats Missouri in the Gator Bowl, in large part because Missouri could not move the football through the air with the backup quarterback.
Right, yeah. They look pretty helpless on offense.
Extremely helpless. Storyline number 2, James Franklin recruits Pribula to Penn State coming out of high school. James Franklin fired by Penn State. James Franklin hired by Virginia Tech. Now James Franklin faces Pribula this coming ACC season. And then storyline number 3, at least from my standpoint, is Chandler Morris era is now officially over, at least as it pertains to the University of Virginia. Maybe we saw that foreshadowed by Chad Morris signing a contract to be the offensive coordinator with the Clemson Tigers. And then storyline number 4, is this guy making basically $2 million to quarterback the University of Virginia football team?
Well, I don't know. We'll
find out.
Eventually find out. But that is there's one national recruiting service that has its own. I think it's On3 is the one that has a NIL evaluation of how a player's worth, and they're the ones I think that put out that his NIL value was $1.8 million. So that doesn't necessarily mean that he's getting less than that or more than that or that exact number. So I guess it's whatever the agent and the kid and the school settles on in their negotiations. But I'm sure he didn't come cheap.
Yeah. I mean, from the Southeastern Conference,
yeah,
a dual threat quarterback,
right,
with experience. I mean, this guy. I mean, from my standpoint, and I don't know. I follow your lead on, and particularly things like this. This is screaming more than the scuttlebutt Chandler Morris 1.3 million from last year.
Yeah, and the portal values, from what I understand, all went up this year, escalated up this year, anyways. So what was standard a year ago is no longer the same bar. I think you're paying more for just about most of the players, or at least the significant players in the portal this time around, and who knows where that'll go in the future.
The viewers and listeners, let us know your thoughts. What went through your mind initially when Pribula commits to Tony Elliott?
I kind of thought that that was going to be the case when I was wondering if they were going to go after him, and then when I first saw the two names attached to one another, I felt like that was probably going to happen. And once he visited, I was the only question in my mind. There was some back and forth with Tennessee, who was trying to. They had 2 or 3 quarterbacks on the string, and it was a matter of who felt comfortable where, and that sort of thing. And I think Tennessee settled on somebody earlier Monday morning, and which I think kind of opened the door for Virginia and Pribula.
William McChesney, welcome to the broadcast. Viewers and listeners, let us know your thoughts. Put them in the feed. We will relay them live on air on the water cooler of content and conversation for Virginia Athletics. Olivia Branch, Rob Neal, welcome to the broadcast. Logan Wells Claylo, thank you for watching the show. Betsy Nugent, Tom Powell, welcome to the broadcast. Viewers and listeners all over the Commonwealth of Virginia, North Carolina, Tennessee, West Virginia, and Pennsylvania on the show. What do you make of the Franklin storyline?
In terms of with
Head
Pribula?
coach, yeah.
Pribula was there for 3 years, and he pretty much sat. He didn't get much playing time, so I don't know if that impacted his decision. Maybe he didn't want to go through a similar circumstance again. But there wasn't much said about him and James Franklin in this process. So maybe he was soured on that whole deal up at Happy Valley.
How about Danny Kalin entering the transfer portal, heading to Nebraska, where he'll compete with the former Wahoo Anthony Calandria for the starting job?
Now that did surprise me. Not that he went into the portal, but where he ended up. There's no way in the world he's going to beat out Anthony Calandria for the starting job at Nebraska. This is not going to happen. I know UNLV, where Calandria racked up some impressive numbers last season, didn't play the strongest schedule in the world, but still he has 3 years of essentially of starting experience. Has racked up some impressive numbers. He's very athletic, high IQ, and Kalin, he didn't get a lot of action behind Chandler Morris, obviously, and he threw for 339 yards, and he looked so great against Wake Forest in his one start. So I was surprised he didn't go somewhere else. I know he had previously been at Nebraska, and I'm sure they liked him, and it's near home. But still, I was surprised he would take that shot.
How about Chandler Morris? The Chandler Morris era is now over.
Yeah.
7 years of eligibility is not going to happen.
Yeah, I feel bad for him because he still wants to play, and I guess he'll have some opportunities somewhere as a pro. Not the biggest guy in the world, but that shouldn't matter. It's a shame because in an atmosphere where some guys are getting 7, 8, 9 years, that he kind of got robbed of a couple of seasons with those injuries at TCU. I was kind of surprised he didn't get the extension, the added year of eligibility, and would have been fun to watch him play one more year.
Do you think the Chad Morris, Chandler's father, contract offensive coordinator Clemson, a second go-around as the OC in Death Valley, do you think that was foreshadowing?
Not really sure. I'm sure Chad Morris wanted to coach again because that's what he does, and he's been at some big-time programs. He had a strong relationship with Dabo. Dabo needed an OC after getting rid of the guy that had a disappointing offense this past season in Clemson's disappointing year. So I'm not surprised that Dabo went after Chad Morris to try to correct things down in Death Valley, but I'm not sure it had much to do with anything else.
This comment comes in from the Roanoke Valley, from Jonathan. What does it say that Bo Pribula chose Charlottesville and UVA and not his former coach James Franklin at Virginia Tech?
Well, again, I'm not that familiar with Tech's rosters since everything was blown up down there. If he came here and saw the roster that Virginia has returning, he has a really good offensive line in front of him. I mean, practically the entire offensive line is back.
But he is losing all skilled position players.
Most of them. There's still a couple.
Trell Harris gone. The tight end's gone. Jamari Taylor gone. The kid from Wyoming gone. Xavier Brown coming back from a horrific knee injury.
Yeah, but they did get 3 running backs out of the portal, and including the kid from Tennessee, who I've been told is fabulous. He's big. He's really fast. He can catch the ball. All 3 of the running backs they got commitments from are multi-threats that they can catch the ball, which is something that Des Kitchings and Tony Elliott like. I'm not sure they're through with wide receiver in the portal.
They just got a UCLA receiver.
Oh, did he come today?
Rico Flores, moments ago.
Well, I've heard that he's pretty darn good.
Yeah, stand at wide receiver in college football, known for his time at Notre Dame and currently UCLA. Rico Flores is now a Wahoo.
Okay, well, that's some good breaking news. So that that elevates things a little bit right there, but and then their tight end from this year that got hurt from Charlotte, he should be back, I would think. I don't know what Tech's offensive line looks like that they've rebuilt or are in the process of rebuilding down there. And again, I don't know what Pribula's relationship is with James Franklin. I don't know if it's soured from sitting on the bench for essentially 3 years at Penn State, or if they're fine and he just felt like it wasn't the place for him. I don't know. We won't know until we talk to him.
Rico Flores, guys, the wide receiver, 26 catches, 274 yards, averaged 10 yards a catch last year for UCLA. This guy's a 6'2", 200-pounder with some speed. Looks like the replacement, at least on paper, for Trell Harris. Time will tell. Here's an interesting question for you. Bo Pribula, I believe I'm pronouncing his name right.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay.
I checked, yeah.
Thank you. Bo Pribula versus Chandler Morris from a transfer portal announcement standpoint, which announcement has more cachet?
Wow, that's a good question. Probably Pribula in the fact that he started in the SEC and has Penn State roots, even though Morris was at some big time programs,
Oklahoma,
and then they ended up in North Texas, which was undervalued, I think, because their coach is considered one of the upcoming brilliant offensive guys in the country. And they put up some huge numbers, not only Morris's year, but this past year, which got him the Oklahoma State job, head coaching job. And their quarterback this year at North Texas put up some amazing numbers as well. So But I think from the 10-mile up view, if you're looking down on it and you don't know the difference, I would say the Pribula announcement probably carried a little more weight.
I 100% agree. The Southeastern Conference starting experience does it for me. And look, Chandler Morris had a storybook final collegiate career. If this is his final collegiate career, it takes him to the Gator Bowl, was the toast to Charlottesville, the talk of Charlottesville.
He'll never have to buy a drink in Charlottesville again.
I hope he has cheese. I was going to say a sandwich named for him at the Little John's, but the Little John's has now been closed, the 2.0 version.
Sadly.
I hope he has a burger named after him at the White Spot. Bert Ellis, the managing partner of the White Spot, Bert Chandler Morris needs a sandwich or a burger named after him. But I agree with you. Bo Pribula, Southeastern Conference starting experience, dual threat quarterback, recruited by Penn State. This guy's got all the intangibles to have a magical 2026 season just like Chandler did, Hootie.
Yeah, he's 6'2", 211. He's mobile. He's got a strong arm. I don't know a lot about his football IQ. I haven't read much about that, but I would say he's pretty darn good. Missouri's been a pretty decent team in the SEC the last 2 or 3 seasons, and for him to come in out of the blue like that and start, and like I said, they played some of the tougher teams in the SEC, and they played them pretty much head-to-head, toe-to-toe, losing, I think, 3 of those games by 1 score. And he put up some pretty good numbers in those games. And everything I hear about him, he's pretty darn good.
The University of Virginia is absolutely reloading in the transfer portal. JerryRatcliffe.com has all the portal news. Offer some what's intrigued you with the transfer portal with this Virginia football team.
Yeah, well, they've gotten 15 or 16 guys, something of that nature. They've addressed some of the positions where they need some depth. I think they probably need another defensive back or 2. I was thinking they probably need at least one more wide receiver, and with the news this morning, they got one. They've added 2 defensive linemen, a tight end, a couple of safeties, 3 running backs, 1 corner, a long snapper, and 5 guys on the edge, which can play defensive end or outside linebacker. So I think they've done a pretty darn good job, and even though like last year, they brought in some guys from smaller schools. It looks like, for the most part, the majority of these guys have come from Power 4 situations.
I agree. I mean, the early signs with this transfer portal, the portal reloading so far looks as good, if not better, than last year.
If I'm a Virginia fan, I know a lot of people are disgusted with the transfer portal and the NIL, but if I'm a Virginia fan, I've got to vote yay.
Dude,
because you've got a chance now to go head to head with anybody in the country.
I was initially sour with the transfer portal because I'm a college athletics purist.
Yeah, me too.
And I respected the amateurism of college athletics, the student athlete of college athletics. But as a guy that's tired of being the doormat of the ACC with Virginia football, and they have been for most of my life, right?
Yeah.
I think the transfer portal is the best thing since sliced bread for Virginia football, because the alumni base features a wealth of
wealth.
A wealth of wealth. Billionaires and Hootie, 9-figure net worth. I mean, they can just reload every year.
They should be able to. And it makes you wonder if they had this kind of commitment to the portal a little earlier, if they would have lost out on some of those basketball recruits to Duke and some other schools that simply bought guys away from Virginia, like Knipple and some others. And who knows what that would have looked like. But they might not have had a downswing like they did. I don't know that Tony Bennett would still be around because he wasn't in favor of all that to begin with. But they might have at least not had that slide that they did toward the end of his career here. And Ryan Odom has to be, I would think, happy with it because
Ryan Odom's got pros all over the roster.
he knows how to rebuild a roster. I mean, he's giving people a master class on how to reconstruct a basketball team.
Ryan Odom, I haven't seen depth like I
never had depth like that.
Not like this.
No.
Even the 2019 team did not have depth like this.
No.
The 2019 team may have had more talent in its starting five, but the 2019 team did not go 9 people deep.
No.
And the people coming off the bench, no drop off from the starting lineup.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's ridiculous what's going on. Hugo is one of the best, if not the best shot blocker in the country. And the guy's logging about 18 minutes a game. Chandler Morris or Chance Mallory could start in the backcourt for this Virginia team, probably should, at least from my standpoint.
Oh, yeah.
And would start at point guard for most teams in the country, and he's coming off the pine.
Right.
Jakari White, the scuttlebutt has Jakari White playing tonight against Louisville.
Well, you know, they did say that a week ago, 8 days ago now, that they hoped to get a splint on his hand where he could use his left thumb
To help catch the ball.
And so this past week, that splint, his left thumb is exposed. So apparently it's small enough to where he can use that thumb. So I wouldn't be shocked if he made an appearance tonight, but it was kind of day to day as of what we were told yesterday.
Vanessa Parkhill watching the program, Kevin Yancey watching the program, Jeremy Renica, one of the top Virginia fans out there, loves the Bo Pribula pickup. Jeremy I think this Virginia football team and what it's done in the transfer portal so far may put the football team further along in a positive direction in the portal than it was this time last year. And the difference between this time versus last year is the baseline was not as desperate for Virginia as it was this past year.
Yeah.
This past year was 40% new roster, that it was desperation time. This time, as Hootie's highlighted, the offensive line is in good shape. You got some talent returning on the defense. The kid who replaced Cam at middle linebacker.
Yeah, Marcellus.
Yeah. Maddox.
Yeah.
He's coming back. He looks like a stud.
He's good.
He's very good. I mean, this team has got talent on the roster here. If Bo Pribula can show flashes that led him to being one of the top dual threat quarterbacks in the country coming out of high school, where he was signed by Franklin at Penn State, he showed flashes in the Southeastern Conference with Missouri. If he can do what he's capable of doing, you're looking at a team that could contend for another ACC championship.
Yeah, I agree. While the schedule toughens up a little bit, it's not unmanageable, and they could have had another probably 7 home game schedule, but they decided to play 2 neutral site games, NC State in Brazil, and
Which is nuts to me.
It's all about money.
Yeah.
I think they're going to – I've been told they'll get a $3 million payday, which is double what they would get for a sellout at home. And West Virginia and –
That's breaking news.
And Charlotte. That's a if you're going to play them at a neutral site, that's probably a good place because they've had a couple of nice battles down in Charlotte.
With the Tire Bowl.
With the Tire Bowl.
Larry Fitzgerald.
Yeah.
Al Groh.
Well, Fitzgerald was Pitt.
Oh, that's right, but he was in the Tire Bowl, though.
Yeah. But that was the second Tire Bowl. The first one was West Virginia, and Virginia put it on them.
Yeah, they beat the brakes off them.
Beat the brakes off of them, and then that was a pretty good West Virginia team.
Was that a Pat White led team? The left-handed quarterback for West Virginia. This is you and I going back in the
It
DeLorean
may
and the
have
memory
been.
bank.
I know they had a really good running back, but they shut him down. West Virginia had a really good running game that year, and they didn't do anything against Virginia's defense. I'd have to go back.
Yeah, I'm just shooting from the hip here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Too many bowl games.
I know, dude.
Rattling around in my head.
Especially for you, Hootie. Especially for you, my friend.
But so yeah, last year they signed over 30 people out of the portal. This year it'll be considerably less. I think they're around 15 right now. There'll be some more before they're through, but it's not like you said. It's not a case of desperation. It's a case of filling spots that you need.
Mark Brown watching the program. Mark, where are you watching the show? You're commenting on the I Love CVille group. I'm curious where you're watching Mark Brown. In fact, he sent me a friend request. I just responded to that friend request and confirmed it. He says, I love where the sports program is going. All we need is a change in coaching of women's basketball. Wow, little zinger right there for Mox, Coach Mox. Then he says, I absolutely love the Jerry and Jerry show. Well, thank you for that.
Thanks very much. We appreciate your support.
We appreciate your support as well. I do as well. Kevin Yancey says, call it what it is. He's watching in Waynesboro. College football is the G League of the NFL. It's certainly paid.
Except they were better paid than the G League.
I was just going to say that. My friend. We're on the same page. In some cases, the NIL stars in college football are earning significantly more than the rookie contracts in the NFL.
Yeah. I saw a case of that the other day. Somebody had made a comparison, and it was laughable.
It wasn't even close.
Yeah,
it's not even close. And in some cases, a lot of these guys would even earn rookie contracts.
Yeah.
In the NFL, especially some of these quarterbacks where there's limited positions in the NFL at quarterback. Like this Vanderbilt kid who, say what you want about his antics off the field. The guy on the field is a straight up winner. I mean, he is a dog.
Yeah.
This guy probably is not an NFL quarterback here, and he's being paid millions of dollars at Vandy.
Exactly.
And he will, you talk about someone who'll never have to pay for a drink again. That guy should never have to pay for a drink again.
True. And so I guess it was yesterday that Alabama's offered Simpson over $6 million to come back out of the draft and come back to Tuscaloosa for another year. That's a pretty nice payday.
That's a nice payday. Jeremy Wilson watching the program in Eastern Tennessee. He says, I would love to see West Virginia in the Atlantic Coast Conference and the Maryland Terrapins back in the ACC and send the Notre Dame Fighting Irish packing. The Notre Dame Fighting Irish head coach found himself, Coach Freeman, in a little bit of trouble, but all that seemed to be smoke and mirror trouble as all charges were dropped, something stemming from a wrestling match with his son and some arguments with another coach around the high school gymnasium.
Yeah, I think much ado about nothing.
100%. Much ado about nothing. Comments are coming in extremely quickly right now.
Well, I don't think Maryland's going to ever come back,
No.
even though a lot of their fans probably would like them to. 'Cause I know a lot of Maryland fans, and they still watch ACC sports more than Big Ten.
There's just too much money to come back.
It's the history.
Yeah.
And but you're right, it's all about money. And in West Virginia, that may be the thing that could possibly, I know it in the past, that is one of the factors that's kept West Virginia out of the ACC is their when conferences are looking to expand, they see what a school can bring to the table, and one of those things is eyes on the TV. And West Virginia apparently doesn't have a very extensive TV market.
Well, that's the thing that's also working against the JMU Dukes. And JMU, its booster base is itching to get into the Atlantic Coast Conference. The challenge that JMU has is the TV market is not that strong.
Right.
It travels well. It's expanding its stadium. It's doing an incredible job with fundraising. It's just the TV market in Harrisonburg stinks. And that's working against the Dukes, who have proven that, I mean, they made the college football playoff, for goodness gracious.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, they're a very good team. It's just the TV market. Comments are coming in extremely quickly right now.
Let's get them.
Cliff Daisy.
I don't have where to go.
Cliff Daisy on the Eastern Shore.
Hey, Cliff.
Says, gentlemen, good morning. Very good show. We love your show. Would love for you two to weigh in on the college football championship. Would like to know your thoughts. We got Indiana. We got the Miami Hurricanes. Anybody who watched the Miami Hurricanes play football this year knew that team is loaded with talent. Indiana with Cignetti is I mean, goodness gracious, they look like
loaded with talent.
The bully on the street. I love Cignetti. I love his moxie. I love his cockiness. Cignetti, after winning the semifinal, goes. The only thing I'm thinking about right now is cracking an ice cold beer, which I thought was awesome. Mm-hmm. Where do you want to begin with Miami, Indiana?
I can't see Miami winning this game, although I'll be pulling for an ACC team.
Me too.
The fact that it's in Miami's home stadium might help a little bit, but only to a degree. I think Indiana just has collected so much talent and they're so well coached. They're going to be almost impossible to beat. They've just ravaged everybody they've played in the playoffs, and Miami has gotten by kind of by the skin of its teeth in some cases. But
or a pass interference call that was not called at the end of the game.
Right, and so I imagine Indiana is probably going to win by at least a touchdown, maybe a couple, but.
You're a smart man. He does not know this because he's not a betting man, but he's just a smart man. The line's 8.5, so you're right there.
Yeah.
Indiana's unblemished. Indiana has an opportunity to go 16-0.
It's unbelievable in these times.
We should not underestimate what 16-0 is in college football in these times for a program where it was not even 3 years ago.
Yeah, it's weird because I've been to Indiana a couple times with Virginia. I remember the first time I went up there, it was a really pleasant day, and the SID told me, he says, get here early because the traffic is unbelievable. And he said, either get here really early or get here late because everybody comes here and tailgates, and then when the game starts, they leave. I thought he was kidding me. I went up there. I got there early, got my parking place, went up in the press box, and all you could see was these fields of people tailgating everywhere. And when it got close to kickoff, they all got in line and started leaving the area. It was crazy. And then the second time I went up there, it was probably one of the worst rain games I've ever sat through. And I was walking under the stadium to try to find the elevator to the press box, and there was water just seeping through the stands down on the fans walking up under the stadium. I mean, that to me, that told me it's no wonder Indiana can't win. They've got this kind of a facility and these kind of fans, but everything's changed. It just shows you what can change with the transfer portal practically overnight.
Fernando Mendoza, the Cuban-American
quarterback. Two-star quarterback.
Yep, a Cuban-American.
Yeah.
Heisman Trophy winner.
Right.
Transfer portal.
I voted for him in Heisman.
This is a crazy statement right here. If Indiana finishes 16-0, this has to be on the short list of one of the greatest seasons in college football history.
Yeah, it's hard to argue that.
Because of the games played, the parity in college football, the talent in college football, how Cignetti's reimagined this team. I mean, this is his second year, right?
Yeah.
Second year from JMU to Indiana. Last year makes the college football playoff. He's bounced in the first game, overwhelmed. Year two in Indiana, this guy has a chance to go 16-0. Then you got to wonder if you're Cignetti and Indiana, if pro football comes a calling.
Yeah, although I don't see him as NFL
a pro
guy.
coach.
I think he's really happy where he is, and he's got a pretty nice contract under his belt.
Huge contract.
What was it, 10 years, $90 million or
That's
something
right.
like that? I think he could be okay with that. And even if he has
I could be okay with that.
an off year next year, I think he's still on scholarship for a while.
That man's walking on water and taking the loaves and the fishes and feeding the thousands at Indiana. So you got Indiana winning. Do you have Indiana covering?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question about that.
It's going to have to take a really big game from Carson Beck in Miami to win this contest.
Yeah, he'd have to play maybe the game of his career.
Game of his career. Yeah.
And have some help.
And have some help like he did in the Ole Miss matchup.
Right.
Because I don't care time and place, and a lot of people are saying you can't determine the game in the last seconds of the game by calling a PI. My standpoint, that was clear-cut PI, and PI with no time on the clock should be called just like PI should be called in the first period.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's like the old thing in basketball, makeup. I've never been a fan of makeup calls. Two wrongs don't make a right. So, I agree. It shouldn't matter what the time of the game is. One of the ballsiest calls by a ref I've ever seen in my career was at the Final Four in, God, what year was that? Michigan was playing Duke, I believe, and the referee called a foul on the Michigan guy in the final couple seconds, and then also against in the Virginia semifinals of the Final Four when they called the foul on the guy who fouled Kyle Guy on the three-point shot. Some people would have swallowed their whistle on that, but he called it appropriately, and again, it took some stones to do that, and then Kyle won the game at the free throw line.
The three most clutch free throws in maybe college basketball history.
Certainly,
Kyle Guys.
Certainly in Virginia history.
Absolutely Virginia history. Vanessa Parkhill of Earlysville. The Hoosiers are such a well-prepared team. I expect it will be a good game, though. Miami is tough. It will be playing with the chip on their shoulder. I concur with Hootie Ratcliffe, the Virginia Sports Hall of Famer. I will be rooting for the Hurricanes. It is an ACC team, and I root for all ACC teams except one, and I'll let you know which one. I'll let you guess which one that is, viewers and listeners. Mark Brown says he's watching in Prince George, Virginia.
All right, yeah.
Kevin Yancey said we hired Tony Elliott. Virginia hired Tony Elliott when Signetti was 45 minutes to the west. So he's saying maybe Signetti should have been Virginia's coach.
Well, if you remember in their matchup, Tony Elliott had the best of Signetti. He had him on the run.
Yeah, and Tony Elliott and Signetti.
If it hadn't been for that rainstorm, I think Virginia would have routed
100%.
JMU that day.
There was a rainstorm. They went to the locker room. Virginia came out flat. JMU came out hot. JMU upset Virginia at Scott Stadium.
Yeah,
100%.
Virginia up until that storm had scored, I think, on 3 straight possessions, and JMU couldn't stop them. So that killed Virginia right there.
And also, it's important to emphasize Tony Elliott and Signetti when they were hired, when they were on the short list for jobs. Tony Elliott had more cachet. He's the offense coordinator at Clemson, was being heavily recruited by Tennessee as well.
Yeah.
So Tony Elliott, no shade on Tony Elliott's hire. Roger Brent is watching from Studley, Virginia, home of the 5th best Who fans in Central Virginia.
All right.
Roger Brent. James Madison's in Mineral. He wants to. He's late to the show and wants to know if there's any news on the offensive line coach and the vacancy.
No, and I imagine Tony Elliott probably has a short list. I don't know how much advance notice he got from Heffernan, and we haven't had a chance to talk to Heffernan either. So I don't know if this was a thing where Andrew Luck just called Heffernan out of the blue and said, "Hey, I need an offensive coordinator," and or if there was like some advance warning, and he was able to tell Tony that he was going to probably go after the job.
I mean, he had previous ties to Stanford, so it was not too surprising.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. He came here from Stanford, and then Virginia played Stanford this year, and Andrew Luck, who's a really nice guy, by the way. I met him in the press box when Virginia was up here, and he was incredibly cordial. I imagine he and Frank Reich, when they went back and evaluated the season, they probably said, that Heffernan guy, he's done a pretty good job with that offensive line of Virginia. You might want to consider him for a position here.
Virginia has got to have a cornucopia of potential offensive line coaches with the talent it has returning.
A lot of changeover in coaching staffs, college and NFL.
And Virginia's cupboard is not bare at this position.
No.
It's got talent. So whoever takes this job is going to take over a unit that's got one or two guys that can play on Sundays.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Maybe more.
Right. So I would imagine there's a short list of a lot of talent that Tony Elliott's pursuing with that offensive line. Comments continue to come in on the show. Let us know your thoughts. We have to talk basketball. Renee Pettifer, we have to talk basketball. We have Louisville on the docket, Hoots. Virginia, is it the Yum Center?
Yes. KFC Yum Center.
KFC Yum Center.
Really great arena.
Oh, one of the best arenas.
Yeah.
It's Hootie emphasizes this on the show all the time. Louisville men's basketball in particular is their diehard pro sports team.
Yeah.
So the Louisville fans, this is their holy grail.
That might be the nicest arena in the ACC because as much as I like JPJ, the Yum Center is much larger.
100%.
And they have like Virginia has a diehard fan base for basketball.
They fill it up.
They fill it up, and they're vocal, and they're good fans. And they finally have something to cheer for the last couple of years with the changeover. Finally found a coach that can win in Pat Kelsey. And this will be a real challenge for Ryan Odom's team because Louisville, I think they're 12-2.
I have
12-4, 12
Yep.
and 12-2, I think. They are, I think, the fastest paced program in the country right now. They play at a faster pace than Virginia, and so it's going to be optimal for Virginia to shoot a pretty good percentage offensively tonight and to be able so they can apply their press to try to slow Louisville down a little bit, because if Louisville gets out in fast break mode on misses, they're really hard to stop, and they have one of the best offenses in the country in terms of on the fast break, they pull up and shoot the three. And I think they might be the best in the country at doing that with Isaac McNeely and several other people who can pull it up and stop on a dime and hit the three.
Louisville 12-4, 2-2 in conference play. You're 100% right.
Okay, yeah.
IMAC, Isaac McNeely, a fan favorite, now in a Louisville uniform. That's going to be a tough pill to swallow for me. I was a huge Isaac McNeely fan. I understand this is a business, and I respect the decision the young man made because he got paid a lot of money, and he went to a program that was, on paper, a national championship, an ACC championship contender.
And everything fell apart here.
Yeah, everything fell apart here. I can only imagine an Isaac McNeely on this team, you know.
Yeah.
It would be wild what Isaac McNeely would be doing on this team, because he wouldn't have to be the primary ball dominant scorer. He could play off the ball and allow like a Mallory or a Dalen Hall to create for him, or defenses to collapse around DeRitter and sit behind Bonus Fear for a kick out for DeRitter.
Yeah.
Offense would come very easily to him now.
He wouldn't be double teamed.
He wouldn't be double or triple team.
Or triple
like
in
he
some
was.
cases, yeah.
Yeah. But you know what? Hindsight's 20/20. I totally agree with what you said. For Virginia to win this game, it's going to have to limit the up and down nature of Louisville. I think this is going to be a game where Chance Mallory is going to be tested. He's a guy that's going to, his quickness, his defensive ability, his toughness, his strength is going to be needed against this very deep and athletic Louisville guard, unit. I would love to see DeRitter be the bully on the block against Louisville. I would really like to see that.
He could be a difference maker
Yeah.
in a game like that. And maybe Virginia's size could be an advantage if
they're able to get in a set.
Yeah, if they're able to get in a set and slow Louisville's tempo down.
Louisville's favored.
I'm not surprised by that.
Yeah, they're at home. I'm not surprised by that either. Louisville, depending on where you shop, a 3.5-point favorite. The tip-off is 7 o'clock tonight on national TV, ESPN2. We're going to know a lot about Virginia basketball over the next two games. You have Louisville tonight on the road. Virginia's on the road, and then Saturday on the road against the SMU Ponies.
Yeah, and I think, pretty sure that Louisville is 10-1 at home, maybe, or 10-0, and SMU is 9-1 or 9-0 at home. So you're venturing into territory where it's hard to win, and you're facing two pretty good basketball teams. And SMU, I think SMU handily beat North Carolina earlier this season. So I may be wrong about that, but I think I'm right. I've watched too many games
Same.
over the past month. But yeah, it's going to be challenging. I would think if I'm a Virginia fan, if I could come off this road trip with a 1-1 split, I'd be pretty happy.
SMU beat the brakes off of North Carolina. You are right. 97 to 83, 14-point win for SMU. Now they've proceeded to lose two straight. Clemson on the road and Duke on the road. They have Virginia Tech, SMU Wednesday night at home, then UVA Saturday at high noon at home. After a few down years, Hootie, the Atlantic Coast Conference is back.
Yeah, the middle of the pack and the upper echelon of the league are terrific. The lower portion of the league is pretty bad. But overall, the league is definitely back, and I think they could get Jeff Jones and I were talking about this the other day. I think Virginia, the ACC, if they can continue on this thread, I think they can get 7 or 8 teams in the NCAA tournament this year.
Yeah, they have the Atlantic Coast Conference is very well represented in the, ladies and gentlemen, the top 25, the AP top 25. Duke, one of the best teams in the country. Duke has in their front court with one of the Boozer twins, potentially the number 1 pick in the NBA draft. North Carolina is 14th ranked. Virginia is 16th ranked. You have Louisville at the 20 slot, Clemson at the 22 slot, and then in the receiving votes portion of the top 25, SMU and NC State. So this is a good conference, a deep conference right here. Your thoughts on what's going to happen against Louisville, keys to the game?
Well, again, I think they've got to hit a I wouldn't say a gigantic percentage of shots, but they need to shoot well, take good shots, and hit a pretty high percentage of shots, just so that they can get in their full court press and try to keep Louisville from getting into their offense early. That's one of the things Virginia just destroyed Stanford and Cal with, was that they took away so many things with their defense that took away things that those teams wanted to do offensively. And I think that's going to be a key tonight, is slowing Louisville's tempo, not letting them get out on the break, because they can eat you alive if they get their fast break going. So I think Virginia's press, which has really come on strong in the past 2 weeks.
You know what their press does really well? Virginia's press does a really good job of it's not necessarily turning over the ball, but
and that's not the purpose.
Right, it's forcing the offense to get into their set deep in the shot clock.
Yeah.
And often when you see the opposing offenses, they're getting into rhythm with their possession with like 11 or 12 seconds on the clock.
Right.
And it's just not a lot of time for them to get a quality look, at least not at the collegiate level. If this is the NBA, would be a different story. Collegiate level, there's not a lot of time for opposing offenses, which I'm impressed with what Odom's doing. And then he can roll out the fresh bodies to keep that tempo.
And he has to if you're going to press like that and be run on offense. And so I think those are the keys, is to hit a good percentage of your shots offensively, make some threes. You can't be cold from the three-point line like they have been a couple of times, and to get that press working from the get-go and just not letting Louisville run wild, because they can pull away from you if you let them get out on the break.
Bobby Kohler, watching the program, he says, dare I say, dare I even ask, is this team better than the 2019 team from top to bottom? I'm not talking about the starting five, but from top to bottom. I'd say top to bottom, my take, I'm curious of your take, top to bottom, this team is deeper than the 2019 team. This team does not have more NBA talent than the 2019 team.
Yeah, I would be on the same page with you there.
DeAndre Hunter, there's no DeAndre Hunter on Ryan Odom's team. And DeAndre Hunter is a star in the NBA. This guy's a guy who can give you 20 and 10 and is a three-level scorer anytime you want in the NBA. Ty Jerome is going to be a veteran NBA player when his career is over. Maybe a journeyman, but he will be in the NBA for a long time. Kyle Guy is torching the G League right now.
Yeah.
After a hiatus in coaching, he's torching the G League. And a lot of people are saying, how is this guy not an NBA roster? The reason Kyle Guy is not an NBA roster is because he's a tweener. He's not a point guard, and he doesn't have the height to play two guard in the NBA.
Yeah.
He doesn't have the handles to play the one.
Right.
Diakite won a championship, multiple championships, or one championship? Maybe it was one championship with the Bucks.
Yeah.
Diakite.
He had some NBA moments. Jay Huff is on the NBA roster.
Yep.
Braxton Key.
That's right. Wizards.
Are we missing somebody?
Are we missing Anthony Gill? No, he wasn't on that team.
He wasn't
right?
on that team.
Let's look at the roster. I'll call it up.
Yeah.
I'll call it up here. But they don't have the NBA talent, but they do have better depth.
And not to say that some of these guys can't develop into being NBA talent, because some of them have possibilities of doing so.
Let's see here.
But the depth on this team is remarkable.
I mean, Cody Statman is playing professional basketball. And is it Australia?
I think it's Australia.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying Cody Statman lit the world on fire, but he's playing pro basketball. Let's see here. You had Kihei, what's Kihei doing now? Do you know?
I think he was playing in China the last time I looked, but I don't know. Don't claim to know right now.
So here's the roster: Kihei, Braxton Key, Kyle Guy, Ty Jerome, DeAndre Hondo. Don't forget Francisco. It's not Cafaro. He eventually told us his fourth year we were saying his name the wrong way.
Right.
Yeah, why didn't you tell us this from the beginning? Jay Huff, Diakite, Jack Salt. How can we forget Jack Salt? He's playing pro basketball.
Stud, yeah.
Yeah. Now coaching too. All right. So what happens? What happens? Do you think here as we wind down here, Hootie? What do you think happens against Louisville?
I would love to see those two teams in their prime play against each other.
That'd be a hell of a matchup.
That'd be a hell of a game.
That'd be a hell of a matchup.
I'm sorry. What was your question?
Well, if those two teams played against each other, the challenge would be there's no one on the current roster that could guard DeAndre Hunter.
Yeah. DeAndre Hunter's
Hugo's not quick enough to guard DeAndre Hunter. DeRitter's not quick enough to guard DeAndre Hunter. You'd probably be looking at Tillis or Lewis on DeAndre Hunter, and DeAndre would light those guys up.
Probably.
Yeah. But besides that, they match up fairly well.
Yeah.
I mean, the guard play, you'd give the guard play edge to the 2019 roster with Ty and Kyle. But I would still love to see that matchup.
Yeah, that'd be a fun game to watch. But yeah, I don't like comparing teams really because it's impossible for one thing, but still, there's so many things that could happen if teams like that played each other 10 times. Who knows? Might go 5-5 for all we know.
What's your final one for you here? What's your prediction for tonight?
Wow, it's a challenge. But Virginia has had a lot of success winning at Louisville over the years, and lots of different reasons for that. But Virginia's won some games there that they should not have won. Louisville had the better team and still couldn't defend home court. I think it should be a heck of a game, and I think it'll come down to the final couple of minutes, unless Virginia's press can't handle Louisville's tempo. If they can handle the tempo, it should be a barn burner. If they can't, I could see Louisville winning by 6 to 10 points. But it's going to come down to who controls the pace, and that all depends, I think, on Virginia's ability to press these guys and not let them get set in their offense early and not get out on the break. So I hate to make a prediction, but
I mean, picking Louisville to win.
If I had to put down $1,000 with a gun to my head right now, I would probably pick Louisville by 2.
Yeah, Vegas suggests Louisville will win.
Yeah.
I mean, Louisville was a preseason national championship contender.
Right.
I mean, on paper in the beginning of the year, one of the best teams in the country, and they're home.
Right.
In front of a packed arena. Let's see what happens. It's 7 o'clock tonight. It's ESPN2. Virginia's got SMU Saturday in Dallas. 12 o'clock tip-off for that one. You're going to learn a lot about Ryan Oden's team in the next 2 days.
And I certainly wouldn't be shocked if Virginia wins tonight either.
Oh, no.
Not at all.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised either.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised either.
A lot of it's going to depend on whether they can hit the 3.
100%. And that's why the scuttlebutt of Jakari White being back and active is intriguing for this matchup. In the hopper, JerryRatcliffe.com.
More portal. We'll be on that the rest of the week, and obviously 2 huge basketball games, and anything else that happens to pop up between now and then. And Jeff Jones' show this week, Hootie and JJ show on Thursday. We will have 2 guys who were celebrated at Saturday's game, commemorating the 94-95 team that went to the Elite 8 and damn near went to the Final Four. If Corey Alexander had been healthy and not sitting out with a broken ankle, I think Virginia would have been in the Final Four. Might have won another national championship for all we know. But Curtis Staples and Norman Nolan from that team will be on our show Thursday to talk about that historic season with Virginia and their careers. So that should be fun. If you missed last week's episode with Dan Merrifield from the 80s and who else did we have on? I'm having
Junior Burrow.
Yeah, Junior. Yeah, how could I forget Junior? Junior was hilarious talking about Jeff Jones breaking his hand at Maryland and some of Junior's eating habits. One of my favorite stories was that on a road trip to NC State, they got dropped off at the hotel, and unbeknownst to Jeff Jones and the rest of the coaching staff, Junior Burrow convinced the bus driver to take him on a side trip for a pit stop at Krispy Kreme donuts.
I love it.
And dined on a dozen donuts in his room after they got back. And he bought the bus driver a dozen donuts for his trouble.
I mean, how can you go wrong with Krispy Kreme right off the belt?
Exactly.
Right off hot, melt in your mouth. Dude, if I'm not careful, a dozen Krispy Kreme donuts would be gone in about 15 minutes.
Oh yeah,
Especially the hot ones.
it's one of my weaknesses as well.
Donuts and Reese's peanut butter cups.
Yeah.
Jesus.
And Junior's other weakness is he got here early Saturday so he could go to Wayside
The fried chicken.
and get the fried chicken.
Can't beat the fried
which
chicken.
he's been eating for 40
40
years.
years. I was going to say 40 years. Wayside fried chicken is to die for. That secret sauce is off the chain.
Yeah.
Jerry Ratcliffe is the man. He's the Virginia Sports Hall of Famer. Judah Wickhauer is behind the camera. He does not get any FaceTime on the show, but he is an integral part of the program, the glue guy of the Jerry and Jerry show. This is I'm going to cut to the chase, the most watched and listened to Virginia sports talk show out there. And it's because of how we broadcast the show. Quality content featuring a Virginia Sports Hall of Famer, airing on every social media platform, and in some cases 15 Facebook pages and 15 Twitter accounts. There is no Virginia sports talk show that is reaching more people than this one, and those are facts. The I Love CVille show, guys, is up in about an hour and 2 minutes. So long, everybody. Nicely done, Hoots.
Same to you. Thank you, Judah.
Thank you, Judah. Judah.